5. The United States must win this game in regulation to advance to the semifinals. So they need 2 in the third period, at least.
Yes. The margins get tight. Discipline becomes ever more important.
Joe Connor comes out for the face-off. He's taken 2 undisciplined penalties in the second period.
And to your point, it takes away from your other players, skilled players, getting on the ice and being in a rhythm.
Well, Musty and Whitelaw, 2 of their better offensive players, aren't out there killing penalties. Ryan Smith digging for it. Moved away from him and now brought back up by Strathman. Strathman chips it back in. Muscle off the puck by Dvorak. We'll see tons of him here in the third period. Erdman centers it, and that shot fluttered wide. Jumping back on it is Connor. Round comes in. And Shala plays it back to center ice as Matejczyk moves it back ahead. Both teams changing here, thrown rink wide by Tanner Adams. Connor plays it back in. Matejczyk chopped that down. Stancil shovels that ahead. Sprenak looking for it. He bumps in the corner with San Luis, and now Stancil spins and shoots and fired that wide. Back at the point is Kochi. Sprenak took the puck by Ty Hansen. And now a rush quickly for the U.S., but Terrence had his pocket picked by Feltzman.
What a great play by Feltzman, coming all the way back.
Stancil, where it's in, rolling puck in front, bounced away from Badinka. And Musty back for it. Quentin Musty. For the Sudbury Wolves of the Ontario Hockey League. Adams plays it ahead. Terrence has it go off a skate. Terrence plays for Erie in the OHL. And here is Ty Hansen. Gains center ice and flips that ahead. Whitelaw with a bouncing puck. Off the inboards. Almost misplayed there by Rabel. And Whitelaw back with it. Slides it back to Kingsman with a lane. Shoots and through the traffic. Lacroix was standing right in front of him. Rabel makes the glove stop.
Well, what looked like a real promising rush by Team USA. Carey Terrence. What a great back check here by Yuri Feltzman. Just staying on the right side and then getting under the stick at Terrence. That's a fantastic play.
And doesn't take a penalty.
Yep.
That's the, the hard part of that. Feltzman plays in Switzerland in the Langnau organization. Switzerland's under 18 and under 20 programs are coming along in terms of player development. Trying to get this face-off aligned. And won by Lacroix, but the loose puck gathered up by Šimek. Šimek backhands that back in. Kinsman plays it around. Whitelaw flips that rink wide, looking for Lacroix. And Lacroix skated by it, and quickly back comes Šimek. Icing waved off. Kinsman plays it back around. 25-15, the shots on goal in favor of Team USA. Still looking for its first goal. Americans beat Germany 8-1 in their opener, lost 4-1 to Finland in their second game. Czechs won a shootout against Finland in their opener, then beat Germany 7-2. In comes Ryan Smith with the lane, shoots! And Rabel to stop on that. Knocked away from Whitelaw, back down to the American zone, and Strathman back to pick it up. Plays for Coach Anthony Noreen with Tri-City. USHL team in Nebraska. Not to be confused with the Tri-City Americans, the Western Hockey League, who play in Washington State. Loose puck gathered up, and Zidlicky was knocked off the puck by Strathman.
Nice body check by Strathman on Zidlicky.
Connor plays it ahead. That's knocked away by Rochak. And the puck moved ahead by Sprinar. In comes Connor with it. Connor centering pass. That's off the stick of McCarthy and wide. The defenseman Gavin McCarthy had jumped up. In comes Shala. Edward Shala in centering pass. Score! He finds Sprinar, and the Czechs have a huge 2-0 lead.
Huge being the operative word. And what a play by Edward Shala, because he holds Slikinski into the net because he can shoot the puck and pick a spot, and he just freezes him there, and then he puts it right on Sprinar's stick. No chance for Slikinski to get over. What a play by Edward Shala, and as you point out, Gord, just a huge goal. And now the mountain to climb for Team USA becomes a little steeper. Adam D-ball.
That poor equipment guy who stands behind him gets mauled.
We need 2 Stetsons today.
Yeah, I
one
think we
for
do.
the player of the game for Team Czechia, and one for Adam D-ball for being just a great supporter on the bench for his team.
So again, the United States has to win in regulation, so they need 3. And now I think you may be looking at a point where with 5 to go or so, they may have to pull their goaltender. If they're down a couple, they would have to pull their goaltender in a tie game.
And if you're Jan Sprinar, I mean, you know going to the net, there's a good chance you're going to get the puck in a perfect position from Shala. And there's Shala there. Head up. Let the goalie think I'm going to shoot. Keep my options open. Pick the best one. Sprinar puts it into the wide open net. You know, the other thing I think that Edward Shala has, I think he's got a killer instinct. And, you know, we know how good the skills are, but to understand, hey, when the time to strike and how to, you know, really put an opponent into a bad position, he's got that in him.
In comes Connor with it. Well, your top 5 is getting crowded for the upcoming draft. Sprinar up ahead for Petter. His top line goes back to work as Petter fires it down. Shala hunting the puck down. He thought he got there. They call icing. And Shala takes a bump from Strathman, skates right away from it. McCarthy having a word from with him as well. It's been an edgy game even before the game started with the warm-up, but
oh, this is good. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. I think he's got a killer instinct. Good luck intimidating or taking him out of the game as well. Good luck.
Yeah. Off the face-off. Musty with a shot that was blocked. Chip back down to the American zone, and icing once again called against Czechia. If you're just joining us, this game was testy before it started. This is the pre-game warm-up. And defending the center ice red line, the Czechs became obsessed with not allowing anyone to cross it. The goalies got into it. At one point, the officials for this game, who are not yet dressed, had to come out and warn them to cut it out. Off the face-off, off the goalpost, score! And the United States is back in it. As that is tapped home by Tanner Adams. Off the face-off, they hit the pipe. Adams pokes it home, and Team USA is back within 1.
Yeah, Robel couldn't find it. He made the initial save, and this goes back to that icing.
Right.
Edward Shala thought that he had negated it, but off the face-off, Adams goes right to the net. Like, again, shot to the net, be ready to hunt. And that's exactly what Tanner Adams does. And just like that, shortly after Czechia takes the 2-0 lead, so USA gets on the board.
So 58 seconds after Sprinar gave the Czechs a 2-0 lead, Tanner Adams comes back with his first of the tournament. And 2-1 is the score.
Nice hands in tight by Tanner Adams, too, to get that puck in and around the big Robel.
And the Czechs did not like that icing call. They were jawing about it after the goal. Eichler races back. Zidlichki chips that back out to center ice. San Luis punched down by Stancil. And the Americans are screaming about that. In comes Zidlichki walking in. Poke check there. As Slakinski got a stick on him. Back comes Adams the other way. Well, we talked about it last night that this game would have lots on the line, and it's lived up to the hype. Terrence with a sharp angle shot. That's turned away. In comes Musty. Holds. Misfired on it. That's poked back to center ice by Zidlichki. In comes Musty. Tries to work it back. That pass is picked off. Brought back the other way by Stancil. Kuchera works in. Xavi. Back down to Kuchera, who had the only goal of the second period for Czechia. Picked up by McCarthy. By Xavi. Musty tried to go rink wide. That was broken up, but Ryan Smith has it back. And Dvorak took him off the puck. Kochi skates around Whitelaw, then around Smith, and now picked up by Lacroix. A.J. Lacroix moves in from a sharp angle, put that through. Now McCarthy steps up. That pass by Smith, picked off by Xavi, and he's poke checked there by Strathman. Fabry got a stick on that. The puck goes into the American bench. Czechs grabbed a 2-0 lead on the goal by Sprinar, but back comes Team USA. Tanner Adams strikes back to bring the Americans within a goal.
Canada Drives is the easiest way to sell or trade a car. Simply enter a few details online and get a guaranteed offer. We'll pick up your car, you'll get paid. No hassle, no haggling. It's the smarter, safer way to sell or trade a car. It's Canada Drives.
Welcome to the Subway Eat Fresh, Refresh.
We got it! Cut!
Featuring the Great Canadian Club with turkey and pork raised on Canadian farms.
Give me some jazz hands?
No.
Okay.
Subway Eat Fresh, Refresh.
What's the number again?
135, zone it in.
Canada Drives is the easiest way to sell or trade a car. Simply enter a few details online and get a guaranteed offer that is valid for 7 days, so you can think it over. If you like our offer, we'll come pick up your vehicle and you'll get paid. Canada Drives can even pay off any existing loans. We take care of everything. No hassle, no haggling, no lowball offers. It's the smarter, safer way to sell or trade a car. It's Canada Drives.
There's Adam Zidlichki, and to the right of your screen are Andy and Brenda Kirkland, his billet parents in Kitchener, where Adam plays for the Kitchener Rangers. I was just talking to them between the intermission, and they had a flight scheduled for 4 p.m. out of Calgary. They said this game's too close. We have to change our flight. So they're flying out at 6 here, rooting for Adam Zidlichki all the way from Kitchener, Waterloo. I mean, billet families are so important to young players going to pursue their dreams and goals, and certainly excited to see Adam playing here.
Well, this team has a 2-1 lead. And off the draw, Šimek, a shot that goes up and out of play. If the Czechs can get this thing to overtime, they're on to the semifinals. That's all they got to do.
That's all they got to do, and both teams know it.
Now, they blew a 2-0 lead against Finland in their first game of the tournament, tied it up with 33 seconds to go, then won it in a shootout, and that shootout win is the reason that they can get it to overtime and still advance. That extra 2 points.
Viewer alert, Gord is now putting the jinx on.
No such thing, Craig. We talked about this. Šimek, another shot that goes off a leg and wide. Whitelaw out to center. Matejček plays that away.
I get more enjoyment out of people accusing you of giving the jinx. You and I are of the same mind on that.
If I could alter events with my voice, I'd do it with a stock market, not hockey games. At center ice, Dvorak tied up there with Ryan Smith, and I don't believe there's going to be a penalty either way. Both benches were hollering.
Going to be icing. I mean, you can understand why Ryan Smith thinks there could be interference. It looks like inadvertent contact. Both players trying to turn to get to a puck. Doesn't look like there was interference by Dvorak.
And the referee, Josh Albinati, just put up his hand to say, okay, that's it. You said what you had to say, that's enough. Moved around by Badinka, but couldn't clear it out. Now Zidlichki back on it. Strathman. Got it by Feltzman. Feltzman plays it out of the reach of McCarthy, but icing waved off. Steinsel in on the forecheck on McCarthy. Lacroix down to Strathman. Zidlichki's neck guard is once again loose. Out of the corner, chance for Kuchera. And a penalty coming now. It's going to be on Strathman as Zidlichki was knocked down, so the United States is going to be shorthanded here. A slashing call goes to Andrew Strathman. Another stick penalty.
A battle in the corner. Zidlichki's coming out there. He now rips off the neck guard. You said, here's the battle. Good little battle in tight there, and Strathman frees up the puck, and then as they come off of there is where the penalty occurs, and Strathman's none too happy about it.
Called for a slash, so Czechia back to the power play. Fourth power play of the game for Czechia. They're 0 for 3 so far. Petter back for Dvorak. Dvorak back for Petter. Walks in, holds. Swings that back for Dvorak. Dvorak drops it back to Petter. Rossi goes for Shala. And Shala holds, elects not to shoot. Shala drops it down to Petter. Back at the point is Dvorak. Petter and Shala have switched sides now. Here's Petter. Slides that back down. In front of Shala. He'd worked himself free, but the puck skipped away from him. Move back for Dvorak. Fabry was looking for the loose puck. Petter sealed the wall, but Fabry comes in to help out. Lifted back out by Kinsman.
Kinsman made a really good read on that play. He saw that the puck wasn't going to be a clean reception, and he jumped right down there and got it possession for the U.S. to get it down the ice.
Zidlichki lays that back for Dvorak. 40 seconds to go in the Czechia power play. Worked in now by Sprinar. With Feltzman and Steinsel up front. Zidlichki as well. And a poke free, shorthanded dash now by Harry Terrence. In on Badinka. Terrence had that poked away by Badinka. And racing back is Hansen to pick it up. By Hansen from Hermantown, Minnesota. We're going to Minnesota Duluth in 2024. Mediachek lays it back across to Badinka. Final seconds now of the power play. No shots for Czechia. Still a 2-1 game past the midway point of the third period. If you're just joining us, the United States must win this game in regulation to qualify for the semifinals. For Czechia, a win of any kind or getting the game to overtime will suffice. Mediachek gains center ice and fires that down. Here's Slokinski back to stop it. Shots are 28-17 in favor of the United States. That long backhander taken by Adamek is gloved by Slokinski. You're watching the 2022 Hlinka Gretzky Cup live from Red Deer on TSN. We're back after this.
Welcome to the Subway Eat Fresh refresh.
We got it. Cut.
Featuring the Great Canadian Club with turkey and pork raised on Canadian farms.
Give me some jazz hands.
No.
Okay.
Subway, eat fresh, refresh.
When pain says you can't, fight it 2 ways with new Advil Plus acetaminophen. Ibuprofen targets pain. Acetaminophen blocks pain signals. New Advil Plus acetaminophen fights pain for up to 8 hours.
When tired, achy feet make your whole body want to stop, it's Dr. Scholl's time. Our insoles are designed with unique massaging gel waves for all-day comfort and energy. Find your relief in-store or online.
Did you stop by Save On Foods?
Nope.
Save On Foods delivery. Need a well-marbled steak? Leaf lettuce? Leave it to our personal shoppers.
Well done.
Medium rare, please.
Okay.
Shop SaveOnFoods.com.
We opened the doors of our very first McDonald's in Canada back in 1967. And since then, we've gotten to know thousands of you behind the counter, becoming one of the largest employers of Canadian youth. We've supported Canadian farmers, sourcing quality ingredients like Canadian beef. And we've worked with you to help families of sick children stay together. It's all about making a positive impact so you and everyone who comes through our doors can love what's next.
Swiss and Slovakia will hook up in the next game here at this Linka Gretzky Cup. We'll have it for you at 5 Eastern, 4 o'clock local time on TSN 5. Now, during the TV timeout, the Czechs, you know, like most teams, have a little conversation. Theirs is a little more intense and a little closer. Big huddle ensues, making sure they're all on the same page.
They know what's at stake.
The best thing about Czech hockey is after wins, when they hop. And the expression in Czech translated in English means, if you are not, the fans do it too, if you are not hopping, you are not Czech. In the stands in Prague, it's phenomenal. Nine and a half to go in the third period. The United States trying to battle back in this game. Terrence knocks it down. In with Musty. Dvorak takes him out. Kucher's got it back. Lifts it ahead for Adamek. And Xavi got knocked off the puck by St. Louis. Musty back with it. Quentin Musty. Gains center ice. Steps around Petter, but now Kochi ranges back for Czechia. Brings it around. Adams knocks it down. Throws it back in the corner. Dvorak tangles with Musty. That pass picked off by Petter. Trickles down in front. Great chance for Terrence. Turned away in tight by Rabel.
What an unbelievable save by Rabel. And Carey Terrence, he was patient with that play, moving into the front of the net, trying to open up Rabel. But you get in too tight there, you just can't get it over the pad. But he's trying to look for an opening, Rabel doesn't give it to him. But he would like to elevate here, but you're in too tight, and the pad's there, and you just don't have the angle to get it over the pad. The only hope there for Terrence is that you get it under the pad or between the legs, but Rabel made a really good save.
But dig off the face-off win, plays it off the glass, but not out. Up the other side they come. Moved ahead by Stancil. Zidlichki working here, tangled up with the linesman. Zidlichki plays it back around for Feltzman. Zidlichki tied up by Grammer. And now Whitelaw brings it back the other way. A 1-on-3 rush. Gets around, Badinka stays on it. Whitelaw still on it. Engages with the second Czech player, Feltzman. Plays it back to Kinsman. Kinsman shoots, goes off a leg and wide. Whitelaw back on it. Zidlichki took a whack at him. And Zidlichki banks it to the line, but not out. Here's Connor with it. Connor bumping there with Matejček. Whitelaw in for Smith. Whitelaw centers it, knocked down by Stancil. 7:45 to go in the third. That's banked by Grammer. And icing called against the Czechs.
Fresh group coming out for Team USA, and The same group has to stay out here for Czechia. A little bit tired. This is opportunity. Throws out his top line here too.
Well, we saw this, with the first American goal came after an icing.
And now this is a tired icing. Anthony Noreen quickly with his top line out on the ice.
Terrence for the face-off. He's got Musty teed up in a shooting position. Went the face-off back to him. And now Strathman shoots. He whistled that wide. Gavin McCarthy plays it back in. Adams works it free. Tanner Adams. Back around to Musty. Musty. Held the puck on the line. Feltzman takes it back away. And Feltzman banks it out. McCarthy gains center ice and finds Terrence. Looks back down to Musty. That centering pass tipped away by Feltzman.
He's made some really good defensive plays, Feltzman has.
Well, Adams was all alone in the back door. In comes Terrence. Works it right back in front, and the save made in the short side by Rabel. And now I think we're going to have double penalties here. Strathman's going to go. And I believe they're going to get Adamek for the Czechs as well. Strathman really giving it to the referee. And unsportsmanlike to Adamek for a dive.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very clear here.
Dominic Kadir, the referee, is like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Both the one for roughing and one for pretending you were roughed up.
He signaled that penalty about 4 times, I think.
There could be no doubt that he's giving clear direction to both the players where their next seat was going to be.
So 4-on-4 here with 6:51 to go. Always think 4-on-4 is an advantage to the team that's trailing. For the team that's trying to come back.
Opens up a little bit of ice, right? It takes a team out of their, that defensive posture that they're trying to do, keep you outside the dots. More space to work with.
McCarthy flips it back to Adams. Adams flips that back around for Whitelaw. Lucas San Luis out there as well. Here's San Luis on it. Rolling puck through that rink wide that was tipped out by Stancil.
So what I'm going to do on that, though, we can go and check the data on that from Sport Logic.
Yes.
Like, what is, a team trailing? What are the results at 4-on-4?
San Luis steps up. Dvorak steps into him. Whitelaw was knocked down in front by Sprinar. San Luis centering pass knocked away from Whitelaw. Back to pick it up is McCarthy. McCarthy reverses. Petter was in on him. Schall out there as well, and Schall gets into Terrence. Schall and Petter causing all kinds of problems for Team USA. Here's Schall back around for Petter. Rolling puck. Slides that back to Kochi. In for Petter. Brings it back around Padinka. The defenseman's jumped up. And he takes down Hansen. That's going to be a penalty. And the United States will get a power play here with 5.5 to go in the third period. And Padinka slumps his shoulders and heads to the penalty box. USA down by 1. We'll go to the power play when we come back.
Wow.
With Old Spice Sweat Defense Dry Spray, you get ridiculously long-lasting freshness that feels clean and goes on dry. With our patented technology, amazing Old Spice scent releases throughout your day. Old Spice Sweat Defense Dry Spray. Smell ready for anything.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Get NordVPN and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Throughout history, I've observed markets shaped by the intentional and unforeseeable. For investors who can navigate this landscape, leveraging gold, a strategic and sustainable asset, the path is gilded with the potential for rich returns.
Working at Tim Hortons is like you meet so many different people from so many different walks of life.
We have a way of boosting each other up every single day. We've gotten to the point we know each other very well. We are a family.
As a new Canadian, my Tim Hortons workplace couldn't be more welcoming. Tim Hortons has given me a purpose and a hope.
To be able to brighten someone's day means everything to me. Smoke one sugar?
Thank you, Tiana.
You're welcome.
Join your local Tim's team today. Apply online.
Ty Hansen makes a terrific play cutting off the puck. And Badinka, the defenseman, is down there, and then he reaches in and around, and you couldn't ask for a better opportunity. You're going to have a 4-on-3 power play for 41 seconds. You need 2 goals in regulation to win, to get to the semifinal on Friday. Drawing it up.
USA 0 for 2 in the power play, 7 shots. So it'll be a 4-on-3 power play for 41 seconds, then 5-on-4 for a minute and 19. Musty, Terrence, Adams up front, McCarthy the defenseman. Neither team has likely practiced this situation. Off the draw, McCarthy back for it, and the U.S. is pulling its goaltender. So it's going to be a 5-on-3 power play, but the net is empty. Dvorak with a shot, scores! The U.S. gambles and gets burned.
Like, big time burned. I don't know why you pull the goalie there. It's a 4-on-3 power play. Why do you have to make it a 5-on-3? I don't see the necessity in that.
Well, they didn't have third possession.
Yeah, but why would you pull the goalie to begin with? I think that's a really poor decision by the coach to pull the goalie there. We just talked about how much space you have, and now you pull him. There's no need to pull him there. Give your team a chance at 4-on-3. Dvorak very patient and just deposits it into the net. And to me now, you just sealed your fate if you're Team USA by pulling your goaltender. And that fate is not the one you wanted. And Adam Diebel, joy, excitement, thrilled.
Wow. And here he comes again. Adams.
And now he has to come.
You got to have to now. Musty. Knocks it back to St. Louis. Terrence. Works it back to St. Louis. Drops it down to Musty. Musty, a centering pass, tipped wide by Adams at an open net. Terrence plays it back to McCarthy. Now a 5-on-4 power play with 6-on-4 with the U.S. net empty. St. Louis got a stick on that. Back it goes. Whitelaw steps on for the U.S. Inside 5 to go in the third. That pass for Musty's offside. The face-off will come outside the Czech blue line. So Anthony Arene with the goaltender out now. 6-on-4 power play. Might call timeout.
Little miss there by Adams just off to the side of the net on that pass by Musty. Well, Czechy has been involved in some different goaltending. Yeah. I guess what you would call some unorthodox decisions.
Well, they made a goaltending change in the middle of a shootout. They put Dybar, who's on the right, in for Rabel after 5 rounds of the shootout against the Finns. These are the 2 Czechs in the penalty box. And Strathman watching.
And the disappointment on the face of Andrew Strathman.
You know, you don't want a second, you know, I'm not a coach obviously, but it's 4-on-3. The odds of maintaining possession are not as good. Are they at 5? They're on 5-on-4. Like it's tricky to move the puck around. You haven't practiced it. We talked about that. So you pull the goaltender, the puck gets turned over, and boom, it's in your net.
Yeah, it is. But, like, I mean, again, like, you know, you talk about it. We talk about the goaltending. So we have the goaltending situation in game 1 with Czechia pulling the goaltender after 5 rounds of the shootout. D-ball goes in and they win it. And now you have that goalie pulled here by Team USA, and you know Czechia is going to find a way to win another game with.
Well, some work to do. A minute to go here in the U.S. power play. They have to get one here. Well, they need 3 more goals. So in comes McCarthy.
The spirit of your team is killed.
Yeah, that's
the problem. Like, you know, you get a chance. Now you need 3. The players are realistic, and now your spirit is killed. That's the mistake.
Right. In comes Terrence with it, tied up by Dvorak. Oh, has he been good in this game?
Yes, he has.
Like he's an intriguing prospect. I'm not sure he ranks on your list, but
he's in top 32.
6'4", 191 pounds, 17-year-old.
That's first round territory. I think everything in his game too is developmental.
Right. Here's Musty with it. Final second with power play. Musty shoots, ramps off a stick, up and out of play.
You can see with the U.S. now, like they're frustrated and everything. Like Anthony Noreen took the starch and the wind right out of their sails. Right out of their sails. And I'll second guess. I think it was a terrible decision.
So a face-off in the Czech zone. The net remains empty for Team USA. Finland is in from Group B in the semifinals, and the Czechs looking to join them. Badinka steps out of the penalty box. 1 shot for Team USA in that power play. A shorthanded goal allowed to Dvorak into an empty net. And we got 3:23 to go here in the 3rd period. Kochi's been good too for the Czechs on defense.
Well, we saw him in previous game, you know, when he shot the puck. And he's a real decisive player in a lot of areas. Sometimes, you know, you talk about wild horses. It's easier to have a wild horse and try to pull him back with the reins a little bit than try to get somebody to kick fast. Kochi, he's got real initiative.
Matejček rings it around. Race for it. St. Louis goes back. Nice team called against the Czechs. It's a long day here in the rink, but a good day to see a lot of top-end talent for the draft. Steve Yzerman on the right, Chris Draper on the left from the Detroit Red Wings.
Have you ever asked Steve about what it was like going into his draft year? Like, you know, in September of 1982?
We haven't talked about that, but I mean, it's an amazing story about his draft because it was Lawton, Turgeon, then LaFontaine, then Yzerman. And Pat LaFontaine was the first player out of the Little Caesars minor hockey system to be drafted high up. Mike Ilitch had just bought the Red Wings and wanted LaFontaine, and for a moment offered Yzerman and $1 million, like at the day of the draft, to make the swap. John Pickett, the owner of the Islanders, said, okay, we'll do it. And Marian Ilitch, Mike Ilitch's wife, said, we're not paying $1 million for a player. We just bought the team. Whalen shoots, that's knocked away. Sharp angle, that's put wide. Mike Ilitch bought the Red Wings for, I think, $4 million. Yeah.
Yeah, that's significant money now to go spend $4 million at that time and then another $1 million on a player.
But yeah, they were the dead things back then, and they sprang to life. But yeah, I mean, Yzerman was out of Peterborough, and
well, that was the aftermath of the draft, right? Like after the year, but you know, just going back, like, you know, Steve was a top player. Obviously, everybody knew it, but you always wondered, like, what do they remember about going into the draft year?
Penalty coming now to the Czechs again as Kochi touches up. 2:24 to go. Zidlic is going to go for a high stick. So I guess we'll see the net remain empty here. It'll have to be. The United States, again, has to win in regulation. So it needs to score 3 times here in 2:24. They've used their timeout.
Zidlicki
cannot get that net guard to stay.
You know what? Every time I look at Zidlicki with the net guard, I think about you talking about Matthew Tkachuk's mouth guard.
Yeah.
It's an accessory.
Well, it's an amazing thing. It's primarily, the father of it, I think, is Patrick Kane. So it's a big thing, especially with U.S. kids, that they just chew on their mouth guard. Matthew and Brady Tkachuk do it. Tons of American players do it. But tons of players, period, do it now. Stancil won that face-off forward. San Luis goes back to pick it up. 32-20 the shots in favor of the United States. Ravel's been terrific in goal. Erdman has that knocked away. Dvorak to the line, but not out. San Luis knocked it down for Erdman. Erdman shoots, that deflects wide. Back down to Sharp. 2 to go in the third. Sharp tried to center it, that was blocked by Dvorak. Here's Connor on it. Drops it back for San Luis. Swings it across. Sharpest shot. Ravel the same. Rebound bounces loose. And Stancil can't quite reach it. Knocked down by San Luis. Plays it back to center. Played back in by Lacroix. That clearing attempt hits Stancil from Dvorak. And back at the point is San Luis. Plays it back to Connor for San Luis. Works in. Trying to center it. Ravel knocked that away. Now Erdman back on it. Back he goes for Sharp. In shoots. That was blocked by Dvorak. And now for the empty net. That misses wide from Stancil.
You know, Team USA, 1 goal against Finland, 1 goal so far here against Czechia. 2 goals in their last 2 games. The offense, to say it has dried up would be an understatement.
Yeah. Now, Whitelaw knocks it back. Here's Strathman, a shot. He ripped that wide, and time winding down here. You're going to see a celebration on the Czech bench in under a minute, the likes of which you won't witness very often at this tournament. Musty. Long wrist shot tipped wide. Adams back on it. McCarthy. Back for Strathman. Shoots, and once again, Ravel got a piece of that. Whitelaw spins and shoots. That's gloved by Ravel. And he'll hang on to that, and a frustrated Strathman takes a whack. You've got Eichler into it with Whitelaw. And more of it. And remember, this started in the warm-up. There was some bad blood right off the top. And the Americans know their tournament's 11.5 seconds away from being over.
Well, their opponent on Friday will be determined by the outcome of the next game between Switzerland and Slovakia, coming up here at 3 p.m.
So
local time.
The teams there, you're not done. There's the two third place teams play each other. 2 fourth place teams will face each other.
Remember when the World Junior Tournament used to have that, the placement games? I mean, Canada back in 1998, the game against Kazakhstan for 7th place.
They lost their quarterfinal match, then lost the first placement game against the United States, then had to play in the 7th place game and lost it. And the jawing back and forth between the benches. This could be tense here at the end. The officials are going to keep a wary eye on the 2 benches. Time winding down here in the 3rd period. And Czechia takes down the United States by a score of 3-1. The Czechs are on to the semifinals, and the United States is out of medal contention. And Michael Ravel mobbed by his teammates. It was the 2-0 goal that was the big one for the Czechs. That was the one that really put it away. The Americans had to win the game in regulation. That pretty much put it out of reach.
A great pass by Edward Schala to Sprinar.
And now we'll get the player of the game presentations. And this is the Czech bench.